Hi friends, Mindy here. Welcome back to my channel. This is week 12 of the Full Deck Challenge hosted by Shauna at Shuniki Art. I am actually using Project Life cards. I've mentioned this before. Instead of playing cards, I'm just trying to use those up. So I'm starting out with a layer of collage medium here. I am going to leave a little bit of that background visible, but I'm layering over this some vintage and antique papers that I've had. These were some papers that came out of the paper packs that I was doing that they tore when I was creating those paper packs. And so this one has this beautiful German font on it. And so I'm just using bits and pieces of this, again, kind of leaving a little bit of the background card visible as well. And then the prompt for this week is holes and drippy paint. And so last week I had used some of this paper that was like torn from a mixed media book. And so that's going to be my carryover item from last week, and it's also going to represent the holes for the prompt for this week. So I didn't want to actually punch holes into my card. There's a lot of different ways that you could interpret that prompt, but for me, I'm going to use that paper, and I'm actually going to apply it in a few different places. I also have this page from a railroad statistics book and just some different things. I'm going to add random bits of this paper. Again, this is from a mixed media paper pad. And then I'm going to do that in one more place. Again, trying to kind of keep the fact that I do have some of that white Project Life card in the background. But after all of this is dry, I'm going to hit it with the heat tool here in just a second, and then I will trim off all of the excess that's kind of hanging off of the edges. You could tear it if you wanted to, certainly, but I just decided to go ahead and trim it down this time just to make it a little bit easier. And then to kind of pull everything together, I'm actually going to add a little wash of gesso. I keep a wash of gesso in this bottle so I don't have to do it every time. And this is just going to pull everything together. You can still see the different fonts from those papers and everything in the background. It just helps like tie the whole back of the card together. And I'm starting with some salvaged patina paint. This is for the drippy paint prompt, and I started kind of at the top and I just sprayed it with water. I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. That's one of the things that I love about the distress paints in particular, is that they're water reactive. You can get them to do some fun things with water, but when they're dry, they are permanent. So again, just kind of spraying everything, trying to get the paint to run. I really wanted it to settle in the holes of those papers, but in the end, it just did what it wanted to. So I started from the top, and then I'm going to dry everything here, and then I'm going to flip to the bottom and go from the bottom up basically, and then I'll add a little bit along the sides as well just to pull the color all the way around the card. And I had in mind a piece that I wanted to use for my focal image, and I thought that this color was going to work, and it ended up not being exactly the right color. So I'm going to have to adjust that here in just a second. But you can see I'm just adding some paint, adding some water, letting it run, letting it drip and do what it wants to do. This is one of my favorite techniques anyway, so I was happy to see that this was the prompt for this week. And then I'm going to come back in with, I believe this is tumbled glass. This color is just going to go like layer right over the top, and it's going to be beautiful with the focal point, but also a little bit more in keeping with the color that I'm trying to go for. So just doing this same process all over again. It does help when you're trying to do the paint drips for your paint to be pretty thin. And so I'm added water to the paint before I added it to the top of my card. And then even then I'm still having to spray it a little bit to get it to move the way that I want to. And then I'm actually using my heat gun to kind of let it dry as it's dripping in the places that I want it to. I'm trying to dry it so that it doesn't continue to drip. And then now flipping to the bottom side, doing the same thing. You see I can just tap off the excess there onto my little deli paper that I'm working on, adding some to the sides, again, just to make sure I have that color everywhere that I want it to. A little bit more paint, a little bit more water, a little bit more drying with my heat tool. It's just the process till I get it the way that I want it. And now I'm going to add some black splatter just to pull in some of the black from the focal image that I want to use. Sorry for my arm right there. I'm getting my fan brush, and I'm just have a little bit of some Dina Wakley black paint and then watered that down. And then some of these droplets just got a little bit bigger than I intended. So I'm just going to kind of mop those up with my paper towel. It does leave a little bit of a design behind, but it's kind of gray. So they just kind of went back in with a more watered down version of that paint, and it ended up getting the splatters that I was looking for. So then I hit that with my heat tool, let that dry. And this is the image that I wanted to use. And originally I thought I was going to use the whole thing, but it was just a little bit too big. I can see on camera it doesn't actually show like the background color as the way that it actually looks in real life, but it does kind of have that broken china kind of blue, light blue background. And so originally I was thinking I was going to use both of these butterflies. So I did tear it down just a little bit. You can see I'm inking this with some archival ink and ground espresso. And then when I put this on there, I like how it looked, but it was really covering up everything in the background, including the paper that had the holes and that beautiful German book page and everything. And so I wanted to just use a little bit less of it. So I just split it in half, and I decided to go ahead and use that beautiful orange butterfly. And then I have this really fun trim that my friend Bobby sent me, and I've been hoarding it because I love it. It's just so fun. And so I thought this would just be a nice way to kind of break up the background just a little bit, add a little bit of texture. And so I'm just kind of laying this in this bottom right hand area, and it's going to go directly under my little butterfly. And then I'm going to add a lot of glue here to try to get through all the layers of both the little piece, and also this trim has a lot of holes in it. So I thought this also kind of was a nod to the prompt without being like, a circle type hole, if that makes sense. I'm just going to hold that down in place, and then I'm going to add my word, which this week is endure. Again, I've mentioned this before. These words come from my Word Study Wednesday videos because my constant item for this challenge is a word. And so I will write the verse on the back of this card once everything has completely dried. I do need to add just a little bit more glue, but that's pretty much it for me. It's a very simple card this week, but with a lot of techniques that I really enjoy doing. I am going to add just a little bit of ground espresso archival ink. I'm trying to really bring out the holes in that paper, and this just helped it to define them just a little bit more. And that's it. So if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Be sure to check out my new website and Facebook group. All the links are in the description. And until next time, bye.